Today we've got an electrifying challenge in the world of Madden 24. Can we break every single season wide receiver record with the one and only Amon-Ra St. Brown? Well, it's time to find out. The records in our crosshairs are legendary. Receiving yards held by the unstoppable Calvin Johnson at an astonishing 1,964 yards. Touchdown receptions, an incredible 23 touchdowns, a record set by the legendary Randy Moss. And finally, the receptions record with an astounding 149 catches, owned by Michael Thomas. First, we'll take you through the early weeks at lightning speed, showcasing Amon-Ra's incredible skills and the hurdles he faces. Then, as we get closer to those monumental records, we'll slow it down, intensifying the drama. But remember, it's not just about breaking records. It's about having fun and enjoying the journey. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started on this exhilarating adventure with Amon-Ra. Our first game begins now. It might not have been the start we hoped for with a 35-25 loss to the Chiefs, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, he came out swinging. Amon-Ra had an electrifying opening night, tallying an incredible 18 receptions for 204 yards and a touchdown. We're talking about catching passes left and right from the slot, exposing those zone defenses. What a way to kick off the challenge. Week 2 against the Seahawks, and this time, it's a victory for the Lions with a 27-17 win. Amon-Ra's stats may have slowed down slightly, but he still had a solid game with 8 receptions for 93 yards. Keep it up, Amon-Ra. Week 3, and we're up against a formidable Falcons defense. But that doesn't stop Amon-Ra. He tore through their defense, racking up an impressive 215 yards on 11 receptions and notching 2 touchdowns. This guy's on fire. Week 4, and we may have lost 21-16 to the Packers, but Amon-Ra was unstoppable once again. 10 receptions, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Seriously, this man just knows how to get open, making it look easy out there. Week 5, and we're back on track with a 27-21 win against the Panthers. Amon-Ra, you beast! He delivered another monster performance with 13 receptions, 177 yards, and a whopping 3 touchdowns. This guy's setting the field on fire. Amon-Ra's first 5 weeks are almost like a season in themselves. 60 receptions, 838 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And remember, we're playing on all Madden difficulty. This challenge is feeling incredibly doable. Now, before we dive into the next part of this epic journey, we want to hear from you, our awesome viewers. Who should Amon-Ra take on in the next challenge? Which player should we spotlight next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below, and let's make gaming history together. Week 6, and the Lions dominated with a 42-21 win against the Buccaneers. Amon-Ra was once again on fire, recording 11 receptions for 182 yards and an impressive 3 touchdowns. It's another extraordinary performance, and he's truly unguardable when he goes over 150 yards. Week 7 proved to be a tough challenge against the Ravens, and we lost 42-16. Amon-Ra still managed to shine with 11 receptions for 135 yards, but no touchdowns this time. It's clear the Ravens' formidable defense made things difficult. Week 8, and even though we lost 19-7 to the Raiders, Amon-Ra had a pretty decent game. He secured 10 receptions for 119 yards. While the numbers were down, he still showed his skills. After a bye week, we came back strong in Week 10, winning 26-10 in overtime against the Chargers. Amon-Ra had a career-high game, catching a whopping 15 balls for a season-high 232 yards and 2 touchdowns. This was an incredibly entertaining game, and Amon-Ra displayed his absolute best qualities, eventually catching the walk-off touchdown in overtime. Over these 5 weeks, which included a bye, Amon had a total of 47 receptions for 668 yards and 5 touchdowns. This brings his season total to an unbelievable 107 receptions for an astonishing 1,506 yards and 12 touchdowns. Week 11, and we had another thriller, winning 45-42 in overtime against the Bears. Amon-Ra had another career high, with 10 receptions for an astonishing 268 yards and added 1 touchdown to the tally. This game was a roller coaster, teams going back and forth, and the final score speaks for itself. What a game! Now, before we move on, we want to hear from you. Would you like to see a summary of the entire Lions season and not just Amon-Ra St. Brown's journey? Let us know in the comments. Week 12, and this is the game where history was made. Facing the Packers, Amon-Ra broke the first record we set out for. He needed 190 yards to surpass Calvin Johnson's record of 1,964 receiving yards. In the first half, he was right on the edge, needing just 30 yards. And then, in a breathtaking moment, he caught a pass, turned it into a stunning touchdown, and broke the record. With a total of 13 receptions for an astounding 238 yards and another touchdown, Amon-Ra set his season total at 2,012 yards and 130 receptions. This was a monumental moment, and he did it against our rivals, the Packers. The Lions also beat the Packers 27-15. Week 13, and the Lions faced a tough challenge against the Saints, losing 41-17. Despite the loss, Amon-Ra still managed to shine with 10 receptions for 129 yards and a touchdown. His total receptions for the season reached an impressive 140. Now, in the next game against another rival, the Bears, he only needs 9 receptions to equal Michael Thomas's amazing record. Week 14, and the Lions clinched a 31-24 victory against the Bears. Amon-Ra stood out in this closely contested game, and it took until the fourth quarter for him to equal and surpass Michael Thomas with his 149th and 150th catch of the season. He finished the game with a jaw-dropping 15 receptions for another 275 yards and an incredible 3 touchdowns. Now there's only one record left to break, the touchdown receptions record set by Randy Moss. Randy achieved this feat in just 16 games with 98 receptions on the season, setting an unbelievable receptions-to-touchdown ratio. Amon-Ra is on a mission to break this record in the same number of games, which means he has just 3 weeks to catch a minimum of 5 touchdown passes. It's a big challenge, and this will not be easy. Week 15 was tough as the Lions faced the Broncos, resulting in a 28-14 loss. Amon-Ra managed to catch 1 touchdown pass, bringing his total to 19. Week 16 brought an exhilarating game against the Vikings, and the Lions secured a nail-biting 28-27 victory. Amon-Ra caught his only touchdown of the game with just 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and it turned out to be the game-winning touchdown. This marked touchdown number 20 on the season. In Week 17, we faced the Cowboys, the final week of our set deadline for Randy Moss's record. Although the Lions won 34-24, Amon-Ra had one of his quieter games, with 12 receptions for 116 yards and a single touchdown. After 16 games, his tally stood at 21 touchdowns. Unfortunately, Amon-Ra did not equal, let alone break, Randy Moss's record in the same number of games. In the NFL, we got a bonus week. Week 18 against the Vikings brought another overtime thriller, but the Lions just lost out, 34-31. Amon-Ra wrapped up the regular season with an astonishing 17 receptions for 197 yards and 3 touchdowns. After 18 weeks and 17 games, we achieved our goal by breaking every record we set out for. However, we acknowledge that the touchdown record, while impressive, doesn't quite match Randy Moss's legendary feat in the same number of games. That ends an amazing regular season journey with Amon-Ra St. Brown. We loved playing with the quick wide receiver and also representing the Detroit Lions proudly. Before we sign off, we want to hear from you, our viewers. Who do you want to see in the next Madden Challenge? Which player should we spotlight next? Share your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. We're all ears, and we can't wait to take on your exciting ideas. That's it for this episode, folks. We hope you enjoyed Amon-Ra St. Brown's incredible journey as much as we did. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an epic gaming adventure with GameJoyTactics. Until next time, keep gaming, keep having fun, and remember, the sky's the limit when it comes to gaming challenges. Goodbye, and see you in the next episode.